words of Marvin Gaye, what's going on? It is Dave, it is Duncan, back for another
What was Let's Get On?
review. What's going on?
Does he also say that?
What's going on? What's going
He
on?
does say that. Yep, sorry.
Different song, but yeah.
Different song. He was always, hey, Marvin, that just suddenly dawned on me. Let's Get On. What's going on? Nosy motherfucker.
Could be. I'm
just going to throw shade at Marvin Gaye right now. Mind your own damn business, Marvin Gaye.
We are back for another album review, by the way. We're gonna...
Speaking of Marvin Gaye,
I heard it through the grapevine, Duncan.
What's happening here?
We're going to do a wee album review.
Yes.
We're going to chat about the new album from Texas-based hardcore band Kublai Khan TX. The band's new album, Exhibition of Prowess, is out September 20th on Rise Records. With an established reputation for delivering intense, earth-shattering bangers full of punishing breakdowns, vicious vocals, and skull-splitting riffs, Exhibition of Prowess is a testament to the band's relentless drive and promises to be their most compelling work yet. The album was produced, engineered, mixed, and mastered by Randy LaBeouf.
Oh, hey, the beef strikes again.
Yes. Not like a hell of a lot of background available on this album. Like, there's no real information out there. I didn't see any like big press releases or interviews or nothing really.
Were they known for that before?
Well, I was just thinking, is it really needed? Like,
let's put it this way: we reacted to a single a while ago, for them, and I remember us both sitting down, got that Kublai Khan, and like it finished, and I was like that. That's a Kublai Khan. Heavy as fuck. I mean, it sounds heavier, but it's like you kind of know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. And
maybe they're at that stage now where they're like that. Words are. Let our actions speak louder than our words, Dave.
That's true.
So what you're telling me is I didn't have to worry about not reading a press kit because there really wasn't one. Cut out the middleman. That's what I'm
saying. We reviewed their 2022 EP, Lowest Form of Animal. We both really liked that. And to be honest, I just wanted more, Duncan. I was like, that EP is hench, but it was 14 minutes long. All right.
Right.
And it wasn't nearly long enough, Duncan.
Yes.
This time, though, we have 10 tracks, which clock in around 23 and a half minutes.
I get the feeling they're just fucking with you now, and you know what? I'm here for it. Let's keep doing it, guys.
Aye. What do we think of Kublai Khan's new album? I mean, if you like the EP, like if you're a fan of Kublai Khan, you enjoyed the EP they put out, the good news is this fucks even harder than the EP.
Yeah, the production in this one is Buffy.
Yep. When the guitar riff kicks in on Supreme Ruler on that first track, I was taken aback, Duncan. I was actually just taken aback with the whole thing.
Clutched your handbag up underneath your think of the weens.
Oh my god, Duncan. My god, it is absolutely disgusting. Like and that track is basically an intro. Like it's about 54 seconds long. And it is just 54 seconds of pulverizing weight.
It's how you do it's an intro with a sample and the band.
Yeah.
And basically it's a statement of intent.
Yeah.
I mean, the lyric is "can" means king.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, if ever there was a gauntlet thrown down for an album, like, see if the next track had started with like a slow build 2-minute instrumental, I would have been fucking outraged. But Darwinism, the opening lyrics on that one is "bang your fucking head," which, you know what I mean, like is like literally no fucks given, straight down the middle aggression, and I kind of respect them for that.
So unpleasant, absolutely unpleasant, but in the best possible way. I just had this like. I know it was only 23 and a half minutes, but I literally had a face like this for 23 minutes. My wife thought I had a stroke. Like, she's just like, What's wrong with you? What's going on with your face?
My wife thought I'd renewed my car insurance. I was just like, you know what I mean? When you renew your car insurance, it's always a lot more than what you paid before.
Don't get me started on car insurance right now, Duncan. But my God, like, pretty much every track just goes for it. Like, it literally just goes. The saying "going for the jugular," it literally lives up to that from the first second. And I was like, okay, well, this is hitting extremely hard. The first few tracks here are just like all out. I was like, I wonder if this is going to be like a front-loaded type album where like they're just all the bangers in the start of the album, you know, just to kind of beef it up, and it's maybe going to peter out.
Yep. I mean, you're technically right. This is the front-loaded album, which is also back-loaded. Even that's distribution true. Of bangers is what I would say.
Yep. This has consistency that it just maintains this level the whole way through, and it's like it's one of those albums that it's very addictive. Like, rhythmically, I found this really. It's one of those albums that just constantly kind of changes shape and changes pace the whole way through. That like Darwinism has just got like the perfect kind of ratio and balance of like up tempo and aggressive, but also gives you these really slow, dissonant sections where it just feels like something's about to kind of detonate. Same with X, which I think is track 4. It's like 45 seconds, but it's like just a real like burst of energy. Just, you know, it just keeps the thing moving. Like the momentum is just continually going, but it doesn't sacrifice heaviness at all. Like there's still the end of that track. There's a groove at the end. Oh man, like just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. They don't. The album isn't full of like minute songs though. They do get a little bit lengthier at times. Theory of Mind, which you probably heard as a single because I released that ages ago. It might have been the one we reacted to actually.
I think that was the one we reacted to way back in the day.
But that's really cool. Like, there's a lot of nice kind of like, say, atmosphere. There's like a kind of the way they kind of layer the guitars. It's not just like all punishing riffs all the way through. There's a bit of mood on that track. A little touch of like kind of atmosphere amongst the heaviness.
It's so well used in the mix. It's like when everything drops out, you hear a but it's like behind the behind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. It's like you really have to have a good set of headphones for it actually to come out, but it totally fucking works.
I love that they placed that in the kind of breather track space in the album. Like, we'll set that in the middle because that's got a wee bit of atmosphere. It's not a breather track at all. Like, not at all. Like, it's still just crushingly heavy, but there's a slight change to it, so I can see why they've put it in there. I really liked some of they play a lot of these kind of like bendier riffs on this one, where you could say they've maybe got a touch of melody to them, just the kind of way or the kind of the notes that they're hitting further up the fretboard. It's almost teetering on like old school metalcore, with obviously the hardcore still in there as well. But it's a really cool way of breaking up the intensity of the tracks, but still keeping them heavy. You hear it on 972 and the one with Jamie on it, Hopeless Fate, which got Jamie Jasta on it. That one actually reminded me a little bit of, this is a bit of a throwback, but remember Bury Your Dead, Duncan?
Interestingly enough, Bury Your Dead was a band that I was going to mention in respect to this review.
Really?
Specifically about the switch-ups that they do in the groove guitaring, but mostly the reason I loved Bury Your Dead, and I think they're one of those bands that's criminally underrated, is that they would have those punishing groove breakdowns, but they were forever like taking the guitar on like nice big clean chords for melody, even though musically the vocals never did that. They did more kind of tonal screaming. But they used to, like, all their tracks had little moments, something in there that just made you go, that's really fucking smart. Like, because you could do the other thing for a full album and it would totally work, but you made a conscious choice to fit that in, which I would argue is kind of living or dying by the sword, and they never overused it. And I actually think Kublai Khan's placement of that on this 24-minute album is, once again, it shows really, really, really smart composition, that it's not overused, it's not underused, and actually it builds into it. This is an album that kind of, if you are going to talk about it, it builds and builds and builds, and then finds a point to start introducing that, and then revisits that sort of thing towards the end, which is kind of smart, rather than going, right, here's our new kind of sound, and it's coming back, and here
Yeah.
it is again. It's like not a new trick they're using all the way through it. If anything,
Yeah.
it's just an evolution in the songwriting throughout.
Speaking of the man Jasta, the two guests on the album
Yep.
need to speak about this. Like Jamie Jasta, yeah, you know who he is. Very distinctive style, and you can hear straight away when he comes into the track. You know it's Jamie Jasta
Yeah.
straight away, and that's great. Like it's Jamie Jasta. You know what you're getting with him. The other vocalist, though, personal favorite of ours.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Mr. Dave Peters, who is the vocalist of Throwdown. If you've never listened to Throwdown, by the way, they've not done anything for a while, but they are one of my favourite bands, like fucking incredible band from back in the day.
That's that, like, interesting, because now that you were mentioning about that kind of throwback metalcore kind of 2000s thing, they have picked probably, arguably, two of the most distinct
Yeah.
kind of hardcore vocalists from that era.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Yeah, we loved that band back in the day. He guests on a track called Cannibal. And like, if there's a guy that you want on your album that's going to just deliver utter violence, it's Dave Peters, basically. He is just, he's got that like bile in his voice. It just, it just cuts through everything. And when I was listening to it, I was like, it's kind of, although they don't sound the same, it's got a similar effect to Mike Williams from the Agony scene. It's just that tone that just cuts right through everything.
Right through everything,
oh, man. Venomous. Very venomous sounding. The rest of the album, like vocally, the rest of the album doesn't falter at all. Like, I think Kublai Khan have this like a serious weapon when it comes to vocals for me.
Yeah.
Like Matt Honeycutt, like he is a powerhouse of a front man. Like, not only is his tone just completely visceral, but the way he delivers it, you feel every single word of this album. His phrasing is great. He knows exactly when to kind of like really like thicken or bolster a section with a really cool vocal rhythm, giving the grooves like much more impact. There's also, like, as you mentioned a couple already, there's a couple of really good lyrical gems on this as well. When I heard it, I was like in a live environment, that's just going to go off. Like, there's going to be people screaming that back at the
if you
stage.
shout, if you have the line "bang your fucking head," right, opening a track just before you get like a punishing brutal riff, like that, you know that everyone in the crowd is going to do it, and then everyone's going to bang their fucking head.
For sure.
Right, not only the band's going to be banging their head, but absolutely every single person, whether in a pit or stationary at the back, will bang their fucking head. It is absolute genius.
Yeah. Now, we've already seen it, like with the track they released that has the Monkey See, Monkey Do lyric on it. That's all over like TikTok and stuff, being used in hundreds of thousands of videos. So yeah, the rest of the album has loads of those little kind of gems in it. It's really cool. Also, just I need to mention the production on this because LaBeouf, like as heavy as Kublai Khan are, I think a huge part of this is picking the right person to record and produce the album. And Randy LaBeouf just gets it. Like, he understands this band. He knows exactly how to capture and how to represent Kublai Khan in the best way. It's not like overproduced. It still has a very kind of like natural heaviness to it, but it's accentuated in the mix and in the mastering in all the right ways to make this absolutely slap. Those drum tones are just pummeling, absolutely pummeling. And he's like, Kublai Khan always have an incredible guitar tone. Again, on this, it's like just an absolute monster of a guitar tone they've got on this album. And then like vocally, it's like when you're listening to it, it's like it's almost hitting the red. Like, it's just like that like fry that he's got in his voice. It feels very live, you know. It's got that kind of energy to it. But again, like, Randy's just absolutely nailed the production in this. Yeah, I mean, like, this is everything you want from a Kublai Khan album. Like, it doesn't hold back. These tracks are going to absolutely kill live, and it's short enough that you'll just want to kind of spin it like again and again. I don't really have anything majorly negative to say other than there's nothing here that I wasn't expecting. Like, it's pretty much does what it says in the tin, and there's no kind of huge surprises on it at all. But in terms of a Kublai Khan album, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. Anything else you want to add to it?
I got a message today from a friend that knows we record on a Wednesday and was like,
right.
"Oh, what's in the review box today?" And I was like, "That new Kublai Khan." He's like, "Oh, what's that like?" And I was like, "Fucking savage." And I just left it at that. Never even went back to clarify anything. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like everything you've said is on point here. I think it is a distilled, like right to the point. Like there is no fat at all to trim here on any of these songs. Like there's no wasted riff. There's no wasted moment. But what I love about it is they are comfortable enough to let those like things ring out.
Yep.
It's not like a hardcore album that has to have guitar over every single bit. You know, I kind of love that about it. Because it actually makes some tracks feel slower than they actually are, and it allows them to switch up quite a bit in what they do. I love that the guitar tone in this is it's just buzzsaw fucking crunchy. It is really, 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 really good. And then vocally is where I think I'm with you. I think it's difficult to be a unique sounding voice in hardcore because, like, especially modern hardcore, because everyone wants to sound like Jamie Jasta. It's kind of did the template of what a modern hardcore vocalist should sound like. And I think the ones that actually step out from the ones that step out from and are more remarkable, the ones that try not to sound like that, whether they're trying to go back to something a little bit older school or they are in a position where they have a vocalist like they did from Not Loose who has a tone that is infinitely unique, which everyone is now trying to copy, I would imagine, through helium usage or something. I don't know. It's been a really powerful year for hardcore. Like, I mean, it's a genre where I constantly feel like you're forever saying this is a year of hardcore. But like to me, they're like Not Loose started things in a really, really interesting way. On the kind of heavier side, Speed have released an absolute fucking blinder this year, and there's Kublai Khan. Like of the big ones we were expecting, all three have kind of delivered. Like exemplary versions of that. Kublai Khan managed to do it without any gimmick, though, and that's not to say that Speed have a gimmick, but that the reason there were so many eyes on them is there was a flautist in the band. Like Not Loose are full of fucking gimmicks, whether it's like two-step half times and like guest appearances and whatnot. You know, like, they have that, which is gimmickable, right? Kublai Khan don't really have that. If anything, they play it maybe a little bit more straight to the lace. But what I kind of love, and you mentioned it, and I think this is the thing where hardcore, I think, is finding a bit of buzz just now, and bands are being able to shift some units, is that they release shorter form songs with interesting moments, which are easily TikTokable. You know what I mean? Like you can carve them up very, very quickly and throw them in there. And I think that's maybe something that Kublai Khan is just like gonna. I mean that venue that they put up for Glasgow sold out, and then they moved them to a bigger venue. Like in the space of like a day and a half, they sold out the original venue and had to be moved to a larger one. So they clearly have huge fucking buzz about them. And listening to this, it's easy to understand why. It is an exercise in brutality, expertly delivered and recorded, mixed and mastered to perfection. So like you, it did exactly what I thought it was going to do. Maybe there isn't anything there, but then I'm thinking more and more about it. What would I add? Like what would I add, or what would I change? And if it had went longer, maybe there's a case for adding more things in. But at 24 minutes, I mean, you could argue the opening song and the last song are technically the same. It's just not got the sample in there, but I actually kind of liked it as a bookend to the album. It's short enough that when Ant Pile kicks in at the very end there, even though it's using the riffs again, I kind of felt like a good way to close out. I hope they do that live. I hope that they open with Supreme Ruler, and I hope that they close with Ant Pile. To me, it feels like a really cool way to package it. So yeah, I thought this was fucking great.
Nice. Scores for the new album from Kublai Khan. So scoring this, there was only one way I could score this, and that was I had to kind of compare it. So as you've said, there's been some big hardcore releases in 2024. There's one hardcore album for me, I think, that is set the bar. It just hits all the notes for me, and that's Only One Mode by Speed. I think on the heaviness front, Kublai Khan probably wins.
Yeah, I think Kublai Khan wins all of them at the moment. I'd put this against Not. I think this is heavier than Not Listen parts.
Yeah, I would say so. The riffs on this are just like pile drivers, like one after another for 24 minutes. But I think Speed just put this one to the post, if I'm honest. I think the little additions they have with the melodic vocals and obviously the inclusion of the flute, it's close. Like, there's not much in it, but I think this is a 4.5 out of 5. What about yourself?
That's exactly where I'm coming in. I'm similar to you. I think if I was ranking the big three, as I'm calling them now, Speed for me is a 5-star album. I absolutely love it. This is a 4.5. I prefer this to Nautilus this year. And there's nothing wrong with the Nautilus album at all, but I prefer this to it because I think it's just a very concise version of what they're doing over there. And it just works more with me. So yeah, it's a 4.5. It's a fucking great album. And like you say, you will spin this to death.
Oh yeah.
It's short enough that it's so easy just to put on, and it's moreish enough with those riffs. You will be like, short car drive, be prepared to have a sore neck when you get in the office.
Yeah. Nice. So Kublai Khan, an exhibition of prowess, is out on September 20th on Rise Records. Links below to the band to the pre-order. Check it out, have a listen, see what you think. Let us know what you think. Put your comments in below. That is the review. Thank you very much for checking it out. We'll be back with another review very soon. But until then, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye, everyone.